Hi, this is Mom. Very, very interesting. I listened to the whole thing. It was great. We can talk about it later, maybe later on today. Talk to you later, dear. Bye-bye.
This is episode 6 of 1F Jeff.
In some cultures, 6 is associated with balance and harmony. For example, in Chinese culture, the word for 6 sounds like the word for flow, symbolizing smoothness and good luck. In Western cultures, it's often seen as a number of completeness or perfection because of its mathematical properties.
So I'm back from Ireland. Thank you to Bing Bong for taking over the hosting reins while I was gone.
No problem, Jeff.
Ireland is a wonderful place. I now understand why they call it the Emerald Isle, because it's green to a degree that is almost incomprehensible until you witness it yourself, which I recommend you do. And the people, everything they say about Irish people being friendly is just, it's an understatement. If there's a stereotype to be had about Irish people, it is that they are friendly. I don't know if it's something in the water, or maybe it's because they drink so much Guinness. I don't know. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Guinness. Everybody told me I would like it better in Ireland, and I tried it 2 or 3 times, and nope, didn't take. Not my jam. Different strokes, different folks, so forth. They also eat a shitload of potatoes. I have never eaten so many potatoes in my life. And ironically, when I got back to my house here last night, the only thing I had to eat in the house was potatoes. My guest today is Andy Wesley.
Der heutige Gast ist Andy Wesley. 今日はゲストとしてアンディ・ウェズリーさんをお迎えしています。
Dzisiejszym gościem jest Andy Wesley.
This is one of my favorite conversations that I've had so far on this podcast, because I barely knew Andy before having her into my home for a conversation. And as soon as the conversation started, it felt like we were very much connected in some bizarre way, like we were old friends. So that's special.
Andy Wesley is a Columbus-based yoga teacher, energy healer, and owner-operator of Earth Spirit Energy Work, where she offers Reiki, reflexology, and Thai bodywork.
And frankly, she's just an all-around interesting human being. I really enjoyed this interview with Andy, and I hope you will too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Here's Andy. So your day was good?
I did have a good day. The rain was nice, actually. It was helping me feel, I don't know, peaceful.
Did you do you did yoga, I assume?
Yeah, I do yoga pretty much every day. Some type of movement, some type of stretching every single day.
Right. I try to, but I go through phases. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's how it works. And you can always come back to it.
It's true. It's true. So yeah, Andy Wesley is here in the podcast. And I want to begin by telling you how I came across you, which is kind of an interesting story.
Oh, yeah.
So I was at one of the home sound baths about probably 7-8 months ago. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the nights you were doing Reiki. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know you at all then. Mm-hmm. And I was in a bad, emotional place at the time. And then you came over and did, of course I had my eyes closed, I'm lying on the ground and everything. Mm-hmm. And you came over and did Reiki on me. And it was like, whoa, it was kind of transformational in a weird sort of way. So I was like, I have to look this person up because I had your card and everything. Yeah. So then I found your Instagram. And then through that, I found your weed sesh, weeds. And then I was like, somebody's finally doing this thing that I've had in my head for so long, weed and yoga combined. Uh-huh. But yeah, and then I followed your Instagram, and I think your content's pretty interesting. I like what the inspirational stuff you say. I'm like, oh, I kind of relate to all these things. So yeah, I thought I'd have you in. So yeah, that's how
I love that. I really love when people tell me, because at those sound baths, it's like we don't have any conversation. Right. It's silent. Well, I mean, you're listening to the sound bath, you're just hanging out. And then the first interaction we have is me just touching you, putting my hands on you. Right. It's always so wild to hear, when I meet people that way. It's really wild what people have to say. And it's almost like we know each other, even though we haven't actually met. Yeah.
And I never had Reiki before. So it was yeah. So thank you for the free Reiki.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It was what I needed that day. Did you grow up in Columbus?
I did. So I grew up in Dublin. I moved there in first grade.
Okay.
And so then I was in Dublin until high school. I went to OSU, and I've been in Columbus since. I moved to Pittsburgh for a little bit when I came back.
Do you remember the place before Dublin? that you moved from?
Yeah. So I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And then I moved to the Bay Area in California.
Nice.
Lived there for a couple of years. I remember a little bit about it.
Right.
I'm kind of sad that my family moved us away from California.
I would be
I'm like,
too.
California to
Dublin,
Ohio.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Come on.
I know.
My life would be very, very different.
Right.
We were the area we were living in was not great, and that's why they wanted to move.
Right.
But I'm like, come on, another place in California.
Yeah. Well. So you grew up in Dublin, went to high school in Dublin.
Mm-hmm.
How was all that?
Yeah, that was so it was a very safe place to grow up, which is great for kids to have a safe place to live. Safe, physically, if that makes sense.
It does.
I felt pretty boxed in. I felt pretty limited.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really feel like I could be myself. I spent a lot of time, my whole kind of healing work has been undoing kind of a lot of programming that I learned there of like being able to be myself for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very suburban, very the classic suburban kind of, you have to fit in if you want to feel safe and feel okay.
Sports.
Football was really big at our school.
Football. Yeah.
So I did play sports and hated it.
Which ones did you
Lacrosse.
Play? Wow, I could never picture that.
I know.
I don't see that on you. That's not a good fit.
Isn't that interesting? I played lacrosse. I was a dancer.
Well, that makes sense.
Which makes sense. But then I stopped dancing because none of my friends were dancing and it wasn't cool to be a dancer. It was cool to play sports.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I really went hard masking, hard, to get through. I was like, I'm going to be like everybody else.
Right. Yeah. In my high school, it was kind of similar. It was sports, Westlake, Ohio, up by Cleveland. And I'm not a sports guy.
Yeah.
I was a theater kid. So that wasn't cool when I was a kid at all. Right.
Yeah.
That was not the coolest thing. And I always kind of felt like, in high school, it was a little better because people become a little more accepting, but in like middle school, it was just not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's crazy how much that like early life stuff, like the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, that stuff's fucking me up for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a tree growing, and it's growing at first and it's kind of being forced in a direction. It's kind of, you got to do a lot of work to straighten back out and go the way you want to go. It's a lot of work.
How was it with your parents and your family when you were growing up?
If you had asked me then, I would say it was great. I would say we're so close. Yeah. We're so, I felt like we were close and really, I was kind of like the emotional caretaker, it felt like, in the family, or the role that I took on, the role I believed that was my role was making sure everybody was okay.
Well, that kind of fits.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Yeah. So now I get paid for that.
Yeah.
Now I
so
get,
great. Well done.
Yeah, exactly.
Great job. You did it.
Exactly. But yeah, so it wasn't, bad upbringing, I would say. I wouldn't, there was no
no outstanding dysfunction of any.
Correct. Right. Like no big capital T traumas,
right.
And there's no physical violence, but I did feel kind of scared all the time. And kind of like scared of, kind of back to the whole fitting in thing. 'Cause like if I would really be myself and like show some real deep parts of me, show some deep emotional, sensitive parts of me, it was not received very well.
We're in the Midwest, Andy.
I know. Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Precisely. And my family is very Midwestern, like from Minnesota and like Missouri and that type of thing. So very, very Midwestern. So I was kind of just like, all right, well, the way that we get by in this family is laughing. Humor was a huge healing thing for all of us. And that's kind of how we still relate. That's kind of like one of the ways that we can still relate to each other, which is good. That's a blessing. But yeah, everything kind of just needed to be okay all the time. And if it wasn't, then the world was ending. Like the world would end if things were not okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My therapist told me recently, she pointed out, because comedy was a big thing in my family and just in my life. It's just been the way that I've, like, as an outcast in middle school and stuff, it was the way that I was able to, But my therapist pointed out, because we were talking about something serious, and as soon as we did it, I would like to be a silence and I'd crack a joke. She'd be like, that's that thing you do.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, it is.
I had a therapist point that out to me too, where it was actually in couples therapy, and I was laughing. And the therapist is like, why are you laughing right now? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, is it not funny? I don't know. Sorry. So I have noticed that too. That podcast that I just recorded, I was laughing the whole time. And I was like, what is this where I'm just always laughing? It's like a fawning thing I'm just like,
it's not a bad thing.
I know.
Right.
People keep saying that to me. It's not bad.
I mean, if it gets excessive,
right.
then it could be a problem. Like if you start to have physical pain from the laughing, then maybe that's, But yeah. How did the couples therapy go?
Oh my goodness gracious.
I did some of that too.
Yeah, it was I'm really happy that I did it. It was a really amazing experience to be in therapy with a partner and watch them receive therapy, and have them watch you receive therapy. Just the vulnerability of that and the things that you learned about that person. And
right.
I mean, of course, it helps with so much compassion, and it helps you be able to understand that person so much deeper. Unfortunately, like the work, right, you doing in couples therapy, you can have amazing breakthroughs in couples therapy, but if you go home and you're not continuing the same type of stuff, then it'll just go back to what it was. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the way that worked out. But yeah, couples therapy was really intense. And the therapist was she was no bullshit. She was like straight to it. And I had never experienced that before. I think in my therapy, before I had experienced really soft, like really... Yeah. Almost kind of hand holding, like really compassionate. And this lady was like, listen, it's like, here's what you're doing. Like, cut this shit out. Like, let's grow up. And I was like, whoa. So that was, it was very effective.
It's a good takeaway.
Yeah,
for sure.
But it was intense for sure.
And it's my opinion that, at least in my experience, going to couples therapy means the relationship is over. But that's just me. Yeah.
Well, I think because people wait too long. It's like you wait until it's too late to go.
Sure. But then, I think there's a lot happening in couples therapy that's, I don't envy couples therapists, because that's got to be a difficult, you've got to see all sorts of shit in there.
I literally would say that to her. I would be like, you do this all day. I'm like, are you okay? Because me watching people have conflict, I'm like, oh my God, like it's so much. And she's like, yeah, like she's like, don't worry about me. She's like, this is kind of your problem. You're worried about everybody else. Worry about yourself. I'm like, okay.
The first time I went to couples therapy in New York years ago, we went to our first session, and like literally she basically broke up with me in the couples therapy session. Geez. And I flipped my shit. I was like, why did you fucking bring me here? And I threw a chair down and stormed out of the fucking office. Yeah. It was exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot in couples therapy, where people are like, I need someone to help me break up with this person.
Yeah, but don't make me spend all the money then. Come on. I mean, like you can do this for free. Just,
well, some people, I guess they just can't. Some people can't.
Well, turned out she was even like not telling me the truth about why we were breaking up. She was trying to make it about something between us, but really she was seeing somebody else. She was cheating.
Oh no!
I know. No. It's all fine. She's married, living with kids in Connecticut now.
Did she get married to that guy?
Yeah, and apparently he looks very similar to me. So apparently she has it tight. And frankly,
don't you love when that happens?
Right, and frankly, the fact that she married that guy makes me feel a little better about it, because at least that's real. Not that we weren't, but at least it's not like some random thing that she just tossed aside.
Right.
Yeah. And what were your plans? Like what did the world look like when you were coming out of high school for you?
Wow, that's a good question, because did I have a plan? No. I just kind of went. It was like, what's the next thing? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to college. I applied to colleges all over the country, but for some reason decided to just go to OSU. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I didn't have enough of a sense of identity to go and do something I really wanted to do. Right. If that makes sense.
Where did you really want to go?
I wanted to go to California. I got accepted to UC Santa Barbara, but it was going to be a lot of money, and I was going to have to do a lot of extra work to make it happen. And I was like, I don't want to do that. At the time, I wanted to have just the quintessential college experience. Right. My family is big drinkers, so I was a big drinker, and I was like, OSU, let's go. We're gonna drink. We're gonna major in blacking out, and I did a great job. I really did a great job of that. I really got straight A's in blacking out drunk. So yeah, I was like, let's go to OSU. I majored in psychology. I graduated a year early. I started learning sign language.
Oh, really?
In college.
Oh.
And one of the deaf professors was like, you're really good at this. You should think about interpreting. You should think about being a sign language interpreter. And I was like, okay. I was like, don't have a plan. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So then I went to Columbus State, got my degree in sign language interpreting.
Huh.
And I did that. I've been doing that for 11 years.
And you're still
Well, I just recently kind of quote soft quit.
Okay.
It's like, can you ever really quit that job? Not really. It's kind of like bartending where it's like a service job where you kind of keep going back and your boss is like, we need you. And
right. There's probably like always a need for that.
There's always
too.
a need. Yeah. So yeah, I've been sign language interpreting and I quit recently because for the first time ever, I'm wanting to make a decision for myself about what I actually want to do with my life and not just listen to somebody say, you should do this. And yeah, so it's been kind of scary quitting a day job, which is stable money and which is kind of expected money and working for yourself. But I was feeling really boxed in, that similar feeling of feeling really boxed in and limited by interpreting. Because when you're interpreting, you're not yourself all day, you're other people all day long.
Did you do arguments and stuff?
Oh yeah.
What was the craziest, like, do you remember?
I mean, I have a really positive story and I have a really negative story.
I just want to hear the whichever one you determine to be the better story. We can go either way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the funner one. Let's talk about the fun one. The positive one. I set up the sign language interpreting program at a music festival. It's called Electric Forest. It's up in Michigan.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Do you know of it?
I've heard of it.
It's fucking awesome. So it's an EDM festival, an electronic dance music festival. So that was interesting in itself, just interpreting for electronic music. You're basically, I call it like a rave cheerleader, where you're trying to get the deaf people to have the same experience that the hearing people are having. So you're doing a lot of like interpretive dance almost. And I'm trying to show what these noises sound like these wah wah wahs and these like all these noises with my hands and with my body, almost like channeling like the music. So that was really, really cool.
That's awesome.
And then there's a chapel in the forest where you can get married. You can get like fake married or you can get real married. People really do get married there. But there was like fake weddings happening all day. And so I interpreted for this group of deaf friends, this group of deaf guys who all got married to each other. And they were all with like 3 of them. It was 4 of them getting married. 3 of them dressed up like brides. And then 1 of them dressed up like the groom. And they like planned this whole skit. And I interpreted this whole thing. They planned this whole skit where the groom, like another bride came in at the last moment and stole the groom away. And I'm just like sitting there, they're all on drugs, you know, and I'm just sitting here like like, what the fuck is going on? So that was the funnest, kind of coolest thing I think I've ever interpreted for.
I wonder if they're still married.
I wonder if they're still together.
Yeah.
Couples therapy.
Maybe not. They would have needed another translator to get through the and then you had, this is when you had that moment? Or was there a moment? Or was it just a gradual thing?
Oh, that's a really good question. I've thought about that. Like, when did people ask me that? Like, what happened? Like,
and how old are we at this point as well?
So during that time, I was like 26.
Okay.
Ish. I was living in Pittsburgh at the time with my boyfriend because he was in med school while he was doing his residency. So I moved with him there. Just like, I'll just go because this person is going. I'll do because
never a good idea, but yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I'm kind of happy I did it just to go somewhere new.
You gotta learn.
You have to learn.
Yeah.
So I was living with him at that time. I decided to go to this music festival. This music festival really was the turning point for me. A friend of a friend found me somehow and was like, I feel like there's a job opening. I think you'd be good at this. And I was like, okay, like, hell yeah. So I went and lived up at this Electric Forest in Michigan for 2.5 weeks. I had never been to a big music festival before. I went with this person I didn't know. We've become really good friends. He's one of my best friends, of course. I mean, it could have gone really bad or it could have gone really good. It went really well. Yeah. But so living at that music festival, creating something new there, I had never experienced freedom like that. I had never experienced all these people living the way that they want to live. Festival people is like a whole breed of people. Right. And it was just very life-changing. Experimenting with drugs, of course, is also going to open some doors in your brain that you have never even known were there.
Right.
Yeah, so I had gone to Europe. I went to Europe for 3 weeks. And then like a couple months later, I went and did this Electric Forest, and those two things back to back really.
And that was 26, 27?
Yeah.
Wow, big years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I relate to your aimlessness. I was totally aimless when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
It took me 6 years to graduate from OU because I was, drinking and smoking too much weed for the most part.
OU is good for that too.
Jesus. It's too good, frankly.
Yeah.
And then I got out and I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I ended up moving to South Korea at a certain point because I was like, I don't know what else to do. But I still don't know what I want to do. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think knowing what you want to do is really overrated in a lot of ways. And I also think, which also reminds me, like you said, you were just like doing what you were expected to do. And I feel like I felt like this then too. Like, why do we go straight out of high school and then go right to college? Like, I don't know nobody knows who the fuck they are, right?
No. Children,
like there
babies.
should be like 2 years at least, just to have some experience in life, right? See if you can make it. And then if you decide, but parents don't like that at all.
No, they don't.
No.
They need you to like have the plan. They need, because they want to feel safe.
They
want to feel like their babies are safe. So it's like, do the thing you're supposed to do.
Right. Because and then people ask them what your daughter's doing. They can't have to say, oh, she's trying to find herself. She's doing a thing before
that's
she goes.
embarrassing.
Yeah. But otherwise, she's majoring in psychology at OSU.
Yeah. Wow. It's so impressive.
Meanwhile, you're slamming drinks.
Correct. Literally.
I miss you, mommy.
Literally. And it's interesting because my parents have never had a conversation with me like, we're worried about you because you're drinking so much, which is so interesting to me. They've had many conversations of being worried about me.
Right.
It's never been when I was blacking out drunk.
Well, they drank a lot.
Correct.
Did they know you were blacking out drunk a lot?
Oh, well, maybe they didn't know I was blacking out, but they knew I was drinking.
Right.
Because I would get drunk with them. Like, we would get drunk together, They know.
The way you said drunk makes me think you're getting drunk.
Drunk.
Wow. See, I've never gotten, sometimes there's 10 years ago, but not really drunk.
Yeah. It's like a whole thing. It's a whole family affair.
Family that drinks together stays together. That's what they say.
Yeah. The only that numbs their emotions together stays together.
Well, it makes it easier to be a quiet Midwesterner, I think, as well. Yeah. To be a stoic, quiet Midwesterner or whatever.
Totally.
Right.
Well, it's like for me, drinking, like that was the only time I could really release emotions. It was the only time it was like socially acceptable to release emotions.
Right.
And I think that's, my family kind of uses it for that as well, kind of the self-medicating and the excuse to be silly. And
slippery's up the whole social interaction thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So then after your year with the festival, does your path change? Oh yeah. I
moved back home. So I was living in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And I was like,
so you left the boyfriend.
What the fuck am I doing here? Yeah. He was depressed and miserable. So I met some people actually who were in Columbus, who were big festival people. And I was like, I'm going to go back home and be with these people and hang out with these people. And I went back home and I got into another relationship and that was a whole thing, but
these things happen.
But so this relationship, he was a big festival guy, and we actually started a festival here in Columbus. It was called What Fest. It was really awesome. It was cool to create that as well. It was not a healthy relationship I had with this man, but it was really cool feeling part of a community and creating a music festival scene and being in the scene. And
so you're dating and then you decide you're together, and the good part of the relationship, you're like, we should start a festival too, blah, blah, blah. And then you start the festival and then it starts to unravel.
Well, definitely the stress of creating the music festival was definitely brought up a lot in, I want to say in him, but of course in me as well. It's always a two-way street, That's who he was the whole time, and I was kind of had blinders on about it.
It takes time sometimes.
It does.
I feel like I project a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's my thing.
That's a really human thing.
It is. And I feel like, I don't know if I do it more than other people, but I find that like at the end of a relationship, I'm kind of shocked because my projection has been so different than what I'm experiencing right now from this person. How can you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like almost worse because it's just like 2 levels of shock, right?
Yes.
So you break up with that gentleman.
Yeah. So that's when I left that relationship, which was this huge thing because we were living together, and it was really this whole coming into my own power and making decisions for myself. And it was a very transformative time for me.
How long were you together?
We were together about 3 years.
Oh, wow. That's
like first year was like off and on, and then 2 full years together. So it was 3 years of my life. He was all of our friends, like I had met because of him. And it was the whole thing. So I lost most of our friends in the divorce almost just because nobody was really there. Like, when the dust clears and people are like
taking sides.
That sucks for you. Right. You're like, okay. I kept a couple that I met and they're some of my best friends. And that's really how it works.
Do you still know him?
We were no contact for a while. I recently unblocked him because I feel so much of it. I feel like a completely different person than who I was when we were together.
Okay.
I have such stronger boundaries. I just feel so much stronger in myself. So we had a conversation recently where I was able to make some amends with him. He was able to have some level of self-awareness. And so it felt like a really good conversation, mostly just because of the place I was in the conversation. I didn't need anything from him. I didn't need an apology from him.
Right.
I wanted to make some amends. I was able to be like, I was trying to get some things from you that you were very much not able to give me. And that wasn't fair either. Right. You're not the bad person in this. We both have our issues. So that felt really good. But then he kept trying. Then he was trying to
get back in.
And I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't think we need to.
That's the risk of that, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah.
I think closure is really important. Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel like after I've broken up with somebody and I don't see them for a long time and I know they're in the same area that I have some friends are similar. Eventually I'm like, I'll reach out and just be like, let's get coffee because I can't.
Yeah.
I used to remain friends with my exes for a long time, most of them.
Yeah.
Which was weird, but I felt like, how can you not? Because this person knows me in a way that, how many people in my life are ever going to know me as well as that person knows me? And in that way, how can I let go of that thing?
I've always yearned to be able to be friends with an ex of mine, and I never was able to do it. And very recently, the person I made my podcast with is my ex. And so we were able to become friends again. And it feels so good. It has to be the right person.
Sure.
Can't just be any ex.
It has to be the right kind of breakup.
It has to be the right kind of breakup. Yeah. And there has to be forgiveness there. There has to be compassion there. You both have to be open to it. That feels really good. That feels like a very healing thing for me to actually be able to be friends with this person. Yeah. Like you said, we know each other so deeply. We were so close. We were best friends, So it feels really good to be in a place emotionally where the both of us can actually do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how do you just poof?
It's so sad.
But then I tell some people that I remain friends with some of my exes and they're like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy town. Some people are just done.
Yes, I feel like society, the United States, whatever, says you can't be friends with your ex because it's always going to be weird and
yeah, maybe.
Maybe. It's a whole thing.
But that's a dumb rule.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah. Who brought you into the spirituality stuff? Was it you? Were you always into meditating and stuff, or did it?
So yeah, I've done yoga since I was 16. It was the first thing I went out and did for myself growing up in Dublin, being like everybody else.
Right.
Yoga was the first thing that none of my friends were doing. Nobody was interested in it. And I just let myself go do it.
And what was interesting to you about it? I never even heard of yoga when I was 16. Of course, I'm older than you, but yeah.
I mean, the physical postures of it, but there's kind of the peace of it, the quiet. It was not very quiet in my house.
Right.
And so I was kind of the introvert where I would go and need to go be alone. I get very overstimulated, still do to this day. Mm-hmm. And so need to go be alone. And so kind of just being in a group where we're quiet and we're still and we're peaceful, but we're moving our bodies. I was always very interested from dance and all of it. I was very interested in bodies and the physical aspect of things. So I think that's what drew me to it. And I went, and it was in an office building. It was me and a bunch of old ladies, mm-hmm. and it was amazing. And it felt so good, So I've been doing yoga my whole life, off and on my whole life. When I was a kid, I was always really interested in East Asian culture, Japanese stuff, Buddhism.
Interesting.
I would have my little my Japanese tea sets and my little Japanese bowls and stuff. So I don't know where that came from.
So you were saying you didn't fit in high school is what you were saying.
I definitely didn't. But it was very, I was a vegetarian when I was 16. Everyone made fun of me for that. I was very like earth conscious. I was like, I would bring my lunchbox to school, you know, instead of using paper bags. And I was very like recycle. And everyone would just like make fun of me and call me a nerd or whatever because I was cared about things.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking loser.
So I was always interested in spirituality, but I never really, my family was raised Christian and they rejected that. Like my parents did not want to be spiritual really in any way. They would
Except
talk
in
about
the Jesus way.
right.
Yeah.
Well, they would talk about God in this very general, vague way. I think we went to church like 3 times when I was a kid. I got baptized Catholic, but then never did anything else with it.
It doesn't matter because you're always a Catholic if you're if you
apparently.
But you weren't. Were you confirmed?
No.
Oh, so then you're not. You're okay.
So then I'm not. So then do I not go to Catholic heaven then?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to give you a guess as to which heaven you're going to go to.
I
That's
was
not
baptized.
what we do. We don't do that on this podcast.
I need answers. I need confirmation about where I'm going when I die.
Do you though? Do you really? I mean, really? If you think. Yeah, yoga. I didn't get into it until I was living in New York for 10 years, and it was like the last 3 years I was there. And I'd always like I got into meditating, and then I always like to stretch. So I have the meditative stretching, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, there's something going on there.
There definitely is.
Like who would have thought that moving your body in ways that you don't normally move it in would affect your brain and your home.
Right.
And as a result, like I'm more like aware of my body in a way, like just more aware of, my posture's better.
Yes.
And more aware of myself. I don't know. I could go on, but like yoga like changed my life for sure.
Retweet.
Yeah. So the yoga, you're doing yoga every day.
Yeah, I just it just started snowballing. Like once I had this kind of awakening that I could do whatever I wanted, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to dive into myself and I want to dive into taking care of myself. I want to dive into my spirit, what lights me up. So I learned Reiki. I got really heavy into that. And then I learned reflexology, and then I learned Thai massage. And now I'm starting massage school in September.
Oh, right.
Thai massage school, which I'm very excited about.
I don't know the difference. What is the difference?
So Thai massage from Thailand. So they have you're laying down on the floor. So we have you on a mat. You're laying on the floor. There's a lot of stretching. It's almost like doing a yoga class for you.
It's like the pulling and bending.
Yeah,
okay, I've seen that. Seen that in the movies.
Oh yeah, it feels so good. The pulling and the stretching, and there's acupressure involved, and you're doing energy work as well. You're working on energy lines in the body. So it's like acupuncture, but we're using our hands instead of needles.
Right. And then how did you eventually, I guess the question I get is like, how did you get from where that was to being at the sound bath where we actually interacted for the first time?
Yeah. How did I meet Jesse? How did I come into that?
How long has that been going on?
It's been going on for like 3 years, I think.
For the list, I don't know if we need like a show note for this or something, just to be like, so there's like a new sound, there's a thing called Home Sound Baths, and shout out if you want to, we're happy to sponsor you. I'd love to have Jesse on.
Yeah.
But that's been going on in Columbus for, I guess, 3 years now. And it's in this amazing old church. And it's really like, when I stumbled upon it, I was like, this is happening in Columbus. Like I couldn't quite believe that. Yeah. It was kind of one of the more magical things that I found in Columbus. Anyway, so go ahead. How did you met Jesse?
I think I went to one of the sound baths. I went with one of my exes. We went to a New Year's Eve sound bath there, and it was so gorgeous. And I think I reached out to him and I was like, if you ever want somebody to provide energy work at this, I think that would go really nicely. I think that would go hand in hand. And he was like, yeah, hell yeah.
I saw they're doing a weed one now.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the thing. That's the thing. Right.
That's the thing.
I can't be there. I'm going to go out of town, but
I'm sad that it's not like doing weed at the function.
It isn't? I guess they can't do that. But it's just encouraged.
I guess they can't, but I do that.
There'll just be a bunch of people standing outside smoking it or something. Right.
Well, I'm like, why can't we do that? Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm like, let's do that. Let's all sit outside together and smoke weed. That's like the fun part.
I wonder how long it'll be, or if it'll ever happen where you can have like a smoking club where you can, a place you can just go and buy, like in Amsterdam when I was there. It's like just sit in the bar and smoke weed with your friends and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's legal here.
Correct. Ohio is just doing weird shit with it.
Ohio's broken.
It's very broken.
Be clear about Ohio.
It's very broken.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? You've got a business. You've got a Reiki.
Earth Spirit Energy Work.
Earth Spirit Energy
Work. Yeah.
Work.
So I practice Reiki, reflexology, teaching yoga 3 times a week. Yeah.
And you, with the yoga classes, you just kind of do your own thing and find a place and just kind of make it happen.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
The teaching out of an art gallery has been really cool. It's cool to be surrounded by art. I identify as an artist. I have many artists all around me. So that's really cool to get to do that. And that's because we get to smoke in there.
Yeah.
It's a private establishment where they let us smoke, which is hard to come by in Columbus, Ohio. And then we're out in the park on Sunday mornings, which is really amazing to just have community yoga out in the park. I really help connect people to the land and to the trees, and that's a passion of mine. And then Monday nights, I'm also teaching at a pole dancing studio. Okay. And so I've been able to get into pole dancing now, which has been life-changing as well.
Huh. In what way?
Oh, I've just always, like I said, as a dancer, my whole life, I've gotten more recent in the last couple of years, I've gotten really deep into dancing, just kind of as an identity and kind of as a lifestyle. And I've always wanted to be on a pole. I've always admired it. I've always thought it was so gorgeous. And it's just very, I don't know, it's just an art form that I'm really able to just get in there and express myself through.
Huh. It looks hard.
It's fucking hard. It hurts.
A lot of upper body strength
too.
Yeah.
It hurts. Like squeezing your thighs on the thing. Like that's the thing you got to get through is it hurts. Yeah. I got bruises all over.
It's a solid workout though. Probably.
Oh yeah.
I think there's like moms who do that just for the workout.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. It's been cool to get to do that.
Are there any men in the pole dancing?
Yeah.
There really are.
So Terrence is his name, is one of the teachers. He's awesome. And there's been a couple of men who come and take classes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would feel super uncomfortable doing
that. I know. Well, and it is a thing you kind of have to get over. But if you have good teachers who are there to make you feel comfortable, it can be really helpful.
It's interesting. It's also the thing, like, so I'm 51 and like I go to spaces when, like, even at yoga class sometimes, I'll have a thought where I'm like, for me, the experience of being one of 2 or 3 men in a yoga studio is kind of like, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable around me, you know. But also there's the thought that like men doing women's things or all that has kind of blurred in the last several generations. So it's like a lot of it is what's I'm bringing to the table in my head, whereas it's not that I'm going to creep people out, but I'm just saying like even doing pole yoga would be like, I mean, that's not that even weird anymore. And 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it would have been strange, but
Oh, it was like taboo. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, things
I love
change.
how things are progressing in that way.
Things are progressing.
Yeah.
So you started a podcast too?
Yeah, apparently. I'm very like the ADHD is ADHDing where I'm just like, we're going to do this. I don't plan things out really. I just start doing them,
right?
Which is a pro and it has its pros and its cons, you know? So me and my ex is a big movie guy and we always talk about movies and we have these deep, like amazing conversations about movies. And I was like, we should just record this. You know, let's just record a conversation that we're having. Sure. So we borrowed microphones from a friend and we just sat down and did it. And the friends of mine who have listened to it have good things to say about it, where they're like, you know, y'all were just so open with each other and it's cool to see exes be able to talk like this. Right. You know, so yeah, we'll see how that goes.
So how did you start doing the weed yoga thing? What was because that's a thing that I wanted. That was an idea that I was in my head for years. I was like, this is the best thing ever, taking an edible or so and then going to yoga.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, oh, look at this. Although when I went to your thing, I got way too high and was just like completely uncomfortable because I was so high.
I get it.
You got to balance it out.
Uh-huh.
I went all in because I was like, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
It was kind of similarly with the podcast, the ADHD. I was like, well, I'm just going to fucking do this. I had a friend who owns that studio. Taylor Brady is her name. Shout out. She's an amazing person. She's doing so much. She's so cool. She was putting out like, is there anybody who wants to do weed yoga at my studio? Because she's one of the only establishments I know in Columbus who has been open since before it was legalized here, who was like, we smoke weed in my place.
Huh.
You know what I mean? She was just fucking doing it.
So it was her idea and you just brought
it was her idea. And I was like, yes. Like a friend told me about it, similar to the music festival where a friend of a friend was like, you should do this. And I was like, you're fucking right. So then we've been doing it. We've been doing it for 3 years.
Huh. Yeah, my idea expands it into like a space with like an amazing sound system and like really cool lights that you can change a lot. And then maybe even like if you could make a healthy fog machine, but like a layer of fog.
Yeah, that would be so tight.
Like lean in.
Yeah, so the whole thing with my ADHD ass is where I'm just like, I don't think about that stuff. I'm not a details guy. I'm like, we're going to do the thing guy.
No, I mean,
and so I need collaborate. That's what I've been working on this year is actually collaborating with other people and like, oh, you can actually make things better when you work with other people who bring things to the table that you don't bring to the table. I kind of need people who are better at the details and better at like the planning. I'm like, I'll get us off the ground. I have the energy to start it and make it happen. If you can bring, you know, the planning and like the the details and the little things that would make it better. It took me 2.5-3 years to even get any lights in there. Like I was just working with whatever was happening in there. This year I bought little sunlight lamps and I'm like, look at the production value. Like, wow. It was pretty funny.
So do you still drink or did you quit drinking?
No, I quit drinking.
Okay.
I quit drinking. When was that? 2021, 2022? It's been a couple years.
What precipitated? Precipitated. There's, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I was on a trip, a friend trip with an ex. We were all with all of his friends. So I was with a bunch of strangers, a bunch of people I was not comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And of course we were drinking because that's what you do.
Right.
You know, like what else are you going to do? We were playing drinking games. We were playing Kings. Have you ever played the drinking game Kings?
Give me the general idea.
It's with the playing cards and each playing card has a different rule. So like 2 is you, so you drink, and 3 is me, so I drink.
I've played similar versions of the same kind of game.
And so then if you get the queen, it's question. And so the one person is the question master. And so if they ask you a question, you have to respond with a question. And if you just answer their question, then you have to drink.
Huh.
So my ex at the time was the question master at this moment in time. And he kept asking me questions and I kept just responding to him because this is my partner. And I'm like, I trust you. And so then he was asking me questions trying to get me. And I got pissed and I was really upset and I wanted to cry. And I was like, this emotion came up in me and I was getting so upset. And I was like, I can't drink anymore. Where I was like, there's a lot of emotions that I just don't deal with.
Huh.
And they come out, like I said.
Is it like rage?
I was pretty angry.
Okay.
I would get angry.
Did your parents have anger?
Yes.
My dad had anger for sure. And I recognize it in myself. Yeah.
And then everything's fine.
Yeah. Very confusing for children.
Very confusing. yeah. Very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Walk on eggshells.
Exactly. And that's no bueno.
No, that's not good for developing psyche.
No.
So yeah, it was that. And I was like, there's stuff I'm not dealing with in my sober life because I'm just kind of,
right.
You know? So I was like, I'm going to stop drinking. And I was also like, what am I doing? I wasn't having fun. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm kind of wasting my life just like drinking with people I don't really want to be drinking with.
Sure. And it feels a lot better, especially as you get older, like to wake up not having after drank a couple glasses of wine because it really is. And the older I get, the more I'm like, fuck, dude.
The energy that you get back in your life from not being hungover.
And the money too.
Oh yeah. The money.
I mean, I still drink, to be clear, but I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. And trying to be, because my dad drank a lot, blah, 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 that old story. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been fine. You've California sober, I'm assuming.
Yeah. California sober for sure. What people call it, like Portland sober if you do mushrooms and.
Oh, so Portland sober, I would.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's gone well. I mean, I haven't relapsed or whatever. I haven't come back. I just haven't been interested in it.
Right.
And it's like when you cut it out and you're not even interested in it anymore, it's like that's a big sign for you.
Well, plus if you're not around people who are doing it a lot.
Oh, that's a big, when people ask me like, how do you quit drinking? The number one thing I would say is you have to be around people who aren't drinking. You got to get some friends who don't drink. It's changed my whole life. So like most of my friends now don't drink. And so we can go out. We go out and dance. We go out to nightclubs. We go out and we're completely sober. Very different for me.
Yeah, for sure.
It's wild.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know that I could
hard.
Dance without any.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Reprogramming how to socialize with people without
I do dry January when I can. And like was interesting. And like even hanging out with people, but and I cheated though, because I got one of those these are great, by the way, those little seltzers with like 5 milligrams of THC.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever. It's not even THC, it's whatever. So, but that is like the most perfect kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would do that. And then I'd be like sitting here and these people are all wasted. And I'm like high, and it was
yeah, we are on different frequencies.
But anyway, and then at one point I broke my toe. It was the only time I cheated the whole month, and I slipped and broke my toe, and I thought, well, there's a sign. But then I started again after that. So. Is there anything about you that you think is remarkable that nobody really knows about you?
Most people are surprised to hear that I'm an introvert and that I'm very exhausted by social interaction and that I spend most of my time by myself.
Huh. Yeah.
Like a lot of people are surprised to hear that because when they meet me, I'm so outgoing and I'm so welcoming and I'm so like I'm doing all these things and I'm like my work is involved with just like being with people all day long.
Right.
So yeah, like a deep introversion and like a deep overwhelm. Like a general state of overwhelm, you know what I mean, that I've really had to work through and that I'm really healing lately. I think I'm becoming more of an extrovert. I'm enjoying it more because I'm actually able to interact as myself more lately now and not just what people want me to be.
Right.
That was most of my life.
But isn't all of life kind of a show?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Aren't we all putting on personalities in a way?
Yeah, that's kind of the work I've been trying to do is integrating all of those different personalities.
Trying to make
who
it
I am with these people, who I am with these people. Yeah, trying to layer those on top of each other and be like, who am I like in the center of all of those Venn diagrams? Like who is that person?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good goal. How's it going?
Whew, it's work. It's really hard work.
Yeah.
No, and you have to quit jobs and you have to lose friends and you have to fucking stop drinking and whatever. You have to change a lot and you have to lose a lot. And it just feels like you're constantly losing things.
Sure. But I think the long-term goals are going to be. Right.
You gain so much more.
And you're doing it, which is more than like most people ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people who do the things.
I know.
Like
I know.
Things in general. There's a lot of people who just kind of lie around and watch. Yeah.
Doesn't let it happen.
Certainly I enjoy lying around from time to time, but
yes.
Actually getting out there, doing things, seeing the world, all that stuff. It's just not, people are scared. I don't know what it is.
People are scared. It requires a lot of energy to do that.
It does. And a lot of like getting outside of one's comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is where all the fun stuff happens.
Exactly. Oh, it requires you to be very uncomfortable most of the time.
But it usually, whenever I've gotten out of my comfort zone, I don't think there's been a time when it's been like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because even the discomfort is like in a way.
You learn something from it.
I don't want to do that again. Right.
Yeah. I'll try anything once.
Right. Never getting a free flight lesson from Groupon again. I'll tell you that much.
Is that real? Did you do that?
I did that when I moved here.
Flying a plane?
Yeah, it was like $85 to like, and I'm kind of a little not a great flyer. I'm better than I used to be, but like this was legit like terrifying. The plane was like the size of a tin can. It was like, and it's me and this pilot, and we're like basically right next to each other. And this thing, it doesn't even seem like it can fly, but we get up there and you're just in a tin can. And it was like the thermals, he said, and it's bumpy. And I wasn't. And at one point he's like, you want to take the, and I'm like, okay. And then he goes, bow, and the plane turns to the side and he laughed.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, but I did it.
Yeah.
And I learned that I don't want to fly.
And I learned I'm never doing that.
Never doing that again.
When people talk about skydiving,
I'm
like,
no interest in that. Yeah.
No.
No.
I used to be really scared of heights, and I do credit taking mushrooms and going to City Museum in St. Louis as curing my fear of heights.
That's weird because City Museum has been on my mind for the last 3 months because I'm thinking about just driving there to go see it.
Wow. You should. Have you ever been?
I have not.
Oh, go.
Have you been to Meow Wolf?
I haven't been.
Oh, that's worth a trip. I think they're doing one in New York, but that was incredible.
Yeah.
It's like Otherworld, but way better.
Right. I just was in Denver and we didn't go to Meow Wolf. I was kind of like, do I need to go? I'm kind of sad I didn't go. I know. I know. So City Museum is very Meow Wolfy. More like physical, I want to say. There's so much to climb up on and the stories long slides and like the Ferris wheel on the roof.
Right. Just like a play place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm dying to go. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible.
And I want to go in the arts too, but I hear that's not actually that exciting. But I feel like I'm going to St. Louis. I should go in the arts.
I went to the arch. I did not go up it. I didn't know you could go in it. Up it.
I think it's like a very like small compartment that takes you slowly up the thing, and there's windows at the top.
That's kind of scary too.
Yeah, maybe I won't do it.
Like talking you out of it.
No. Meow Wolf is more like a tripped out like playland and just like secret passages and like it's really cool.
Yeah.
The one annoying part is it's very Instagram. It's made Instagrammable, so it's a lot of that bullshit. Which let's just live our fucking lives, people.
Yeah.
It's not so much Instagram stuff like you do, because you do stuff like I can tell you're by yourself and you're looking at Instagram and just reposting things or posting videos of yourself, which is entertaining. It's the people that have to Instagram every fucking moment of their lives with all these beautiful backgrounds all the time. It just starts to get on my nerves.
Yeah.
And then nobody's living in the moment. Everybody's got their phone out at a concert. I'm sounding like an old man now, but it drives me fucking nuts.
Nothing drives me crazy like someone standing in front of me at a show with their phone in my line of vision.
If you want to record a little bit of a song or take a picture or two, go for it. But you don't need the whole song.
And also, you're not even going to watch that. Like you're not going to
watch that later. I used to have a T-shirt that said, "You're not going to watch that later."
Yeah, good.
Because it was like,
it's so annoying.
Are you on TikTok too?
I have a TikTok. I'm not like big on TikTok.
I had to delete that shit. That was too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. Like Instagram is already like a little too much. I delete that every month or two, and then I come back to it. Right. I got Reddit off the phone too. That was not healthy.
Oh yeah, Reddit. It's a whole.
It's the most useful one though. I think.
It is.
Right. I mean, if we're talking about the usefulness, because it really is. Any solution to any problem, I'll just add Reddit to it, and like, oh, that's how I fixed my radiator or whatever.
Yeah.
I never fixed
that really is helpful. The crowdfunding of crowdsourcing of
it makes sense. But then the Columbus subreddit is just like, the drivers here are so stupid. Why are all the drivers here so stupid? Attention, all drivers! If you're driving in the left lane, Jesus, all
so
right.
much complaining.
Yeah,
so
but it
much.
is one of the most popular city subreddits in the country. It's like top 10.
Really,
which checks out, and I feel like in a way.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song?
What is my
or what are you listening to lately? I have no idea what the
kids are listening to.
I mean, I actually kind of do, but not entirely.
Yeah, I feel
there's
like
that one I know,
do.
that song. What's that called?
What's wrong?
You know, the Hot to Go, HOTT.
Oh yeah, Chapel Road.
Yeah, I can't.
Hot to Go.
That song is not.
She's great.
I don't like choreography with the song. I don't want that.
Really funny. Yeah. My favorite song right now is called Some Sun-Soaked Day.
Oh, I like the name.
Who sings it? Morgan Delt. Who I have no idea. I don't follow Morgan Delt. I'm not like a big Morgan Delt guy, but this song, I play it multiple times a week. It really just changes my entire day.
I'm gonna write it down just because I'm curious.
Yeah, Some Sun-Soaked Day.
I'll listen to it and I'll be like, this is awful. What is this?
You're gonna hate it. No, I think you'll like it. It's incredible. It just takes you somewhere. Me and my friends will all send each other music every single day. We'll send each other songs.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is a deep, deep love language of mine.
Yeah. I used to have a girlfriend that would, like, every day we'd send a song to each other.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Where you're like, this made me think of you. Or it's just like your friend sends you a song and then you hear that song and it changes the whole vibe of your day. And you're like, thank you for that piece of sunshine or whatever, Yeah.
Yeah, you should encourage that in some way and call it like some sort of a friend music chat scenario, because I bet people would love that if they knew that. I don't think people it's occurred to people. So if you were say, hey, you should do this, 5 people in a whatever it is.
Yeah.
So when did you were you always sexually kind of fluid, or was there a thing that happened?
That's a good question. That's a good question. It's funny because your mom always knows before you do. It's like a thing. And my mom asked me a couple years ago and was like, are you a lesbian? And I was like, what kind of question is that? And I was like, no, I don't think so. Why are you asking me that? And then I had several people be like, are you a bisexual? And I'm like, why are people asking me this? And I'm like, because I did not have the self-awareness. People are like, you look like one, acting like one.
You've got the style down for it.
Definitely. Well, I've certainly leaned into it now.
Sure. Now that you know.
After coming out.
Right.
Yeah. And after I know. But it was definitely, you look back, the way coming out works is, it's different for everybody, but it's interesting when you realize it. It's never one day kind of that you realize it, but you're just kind of you look back on your life and you're like, these things I was doing, these music videos I was watching over and over and over again, these women I was obsessed with. And you're like,
which one? Any?
Okay, so Rihanna is one. Rude Boy by Rihanna.
All right.
Incredible.
I'm not sure I can picture her. But yeah, I'm just curious.
She's hot. She's super hot.
I believe you for sure.
Yeah. what's another one? I'll think of another one. But you look back and you're like, oh, as a woman, it's interesting as a woman because so much of it, you think that you're just admiring the person and you're like, oh, I just want to be like her. And people are like, do you just want to be like her? Or do you want to have sex with her? Like, are you attracted to her? Or are you like, she's just really cool? Like, you know, and you have relationships with women in your life where you're so close and you're so emotionally entangled and you're like, what was that? And you're like, was I in love with that person? Or were we just really good friends? It's interesting as a woman because women are societally allowed to be more emotional with each other and be closer and have more physical contact with each other than men are like allowed to, you know what I mean? So you don't really pick up on it unless you really look at it deeper.
Yeah.
And I think I had some experiences where I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I actually like this. This is actually a thing for me. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. People who keep telling me I'm bisexual, I think you're fucking right.
I kind of envy you mentioned the thing about women being more societally allowed to. And I know there's a lot of things men are winning, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But like I thought oftentimes in my life, like being a man, I've never been the most manly man. Mm-hmm. And I've always kind of envied the closeness that it seems like female relationships are more easy to get to than there.
Yeah.
Like I've had female friends in my life that I've gotten really close to, but then it still becomes a thing where it's like maybe because actually I think it just happened. I had this female friend that I was dear friends with for many years, and I sincerely thought it was just a really wonderful friendship because she actually had a boyfriend. But then one day, this last year, she just suddenly started to not text as much, and then we would talk every week, you know. Then she just like stopped responding, and when I asked her, it was some generic response like we have different lives now or something. But like there's something underneath because we have other friends, and the only thing that I'm not egotistical, but I've talked to other people, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, she maybe had a crush on me that whole time.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it sucks because like she was a dear, supportive, like I would call her after breakups and stuff, and now it's like.
I hate when that happens. I had something like that happen to me. Was it this summer? It was recently where I was going to go stay with this friend of mine down in Nashville. I was going to Nashville. I was supposed to be going with me and my boyfriend. We're supposed to go stay with my male friend who's been my friend since high school. He like has gone through periods of like having a crush on me, whatever. But I was like, we're friends now. Like we've got to figure it out, right? And he recently has gotten a girlfriend. He's never really had girlfriends before, and so he has this girlfriend now. Okay. And I was supposed to go visit him with my boyfriend and stay with him. My boyfriend and I broke up, and so it was just going to be me now. So it was just me and my female friend who was coming instead. And so it was like approaching the time when we were going to go. I told him me and Dylan broke up, so it's just going to be me. And I was like, well, now it's going to be me and my girlfriend. And so we were going to come, and like a week or something before, he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be out of town now. And I was like, oh, he's like, I'm going out of town with my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, wish you would have told me that beforehand.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, but like, I'll let you know. Maybe we'll meet up like the next day. So then he never even got back to me about meeting up the next day. And I was like, what was that?
What
he
was
was
that?
Down when it was me and my boyfriend, but then when it was just me, I was like, I think it was the girlfriend was like, got weird about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's happened to me a lot. I kind of put off the vibe. Like, I kind of scare people. I scare girlfriends.
You're the threatening ex-girlfriend.
I'm the threatening girl, like friend of the boy.
Is there any merit to that?
No.
I'm just asking. I'm not accusing. I'm just
like,
asking.
would I steal the boyfriend?
I mean, everybody doesn't, you know, everybody's got one or two bad things. And
yeah.
Then, you know,
No, absolutely not. I think I am a lot more like open sexually, like talking about things. I'm a lot more open just than normal society is. And so I think there's that kind of
for the Midwest, really. I mean,
for the Midwest. Yeah, precisely. And so I think there,
you go to Portland, you're going to fit right in.
I know. Everyone's polyamorous. Everyone's bisexual. I know. I'm really excited about that. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's scary to people where they think I might want to take their boyfriend. Or something.
I mean, I think that's flattering.
Yeah. It is.
Right.
But it leaves me often shunned.
Right. Yeah, I have a thing where I just have lost old friends. Like it's not, this last one is like the most confusing one, but then like 4 years before that, I lost another old friend out of like nowhere for no reason that I can understand.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me.
No communication.
It's hard for me to comprehend because number one, we're not talking about it. Can we just at least talk like about it? Like let's be adults.
People are scared of conflict.
Right. But then also it's like, it leaves me wondering what it was that I did. Right. And also, like, is there something about me and how, like, and so as a result, like, I'm oftentimes, like, I find myself being often uber cautious with friends in a way that I don't want to be, but I don't want to lose them. It's a weird, it sucks, but it's like, I'm working through it and I accept it. I understand it, but like, it's a thing that's there for sure.
You can't be as open as you want to be with them because sometimes, you're afraid of scaring them off. Yeah.
Like there's, I have one very good friend who I know won't ever go anywhere, but like other people, I'm still like,
I'm still working through that too.
And I just don't understand, like, especially old friends. Like, again, like I said, you'd have to kill my mom for me to stop. Like, I'm extremely loyal to a fault. Like, like you're my friend. You're my friend. That's it.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how anybody could walk away from a 30-year friendship just like, I mean, it makes me think that I must have done something horrible, but maybe they're just, my therapist is like, what's going on in their life?
Right. Yeah.
And that's an easy way to, maybe make it okay, but it still gets in there.
They're working through or not working through some stuff. A lot of times when it's just kind of ghosting, there's no conversation and they just kind of leave. It's like they're not working through.
Right. And so that's also a thing. Like, I feel like as a result of all the things that I've gone through, like emotionally and relationship wise in my life, I've become, and I'm not like, spitting my own horn, tooting my own horn, tooting my own. There's spinning and a tooting one, and I combine the two. Yeah, there's spinning my own something. But anyway, but I feel like I'm pretty emotionally intelligent. Like I'm so analytical in my brain. Like my brain's always kind of analyzing everything, and too much. It's too much, right? I go to therapists, and I'm like, I already know.
Right.
I already know.
Right.
But like lately, I start feeling like. I start noticing the emotional like immaturity of a lot of people around me.
Yes.
And I'm like, you can't like say anything, but you're also like, oh, all right. I don't want to feel like an elitist, but sometimes I'm like, oh, you're not there yet.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Right.
And you're not being an elitist. You're really just accepting reality.
Right.
At the end of the day. And it leaves you lonely when you're really emotionally intelligent because not a lot of people are.
Do you have any questions? You can ask anything you want.
What's your favorite song?
Oh, favorite song. I mean, it's hard to say favorite. I regret asking you for a favorite anybody because it's impossible, right?
I know. It's like picking your favorite child.
We're going to check. Because I listen to more talking than I used to. I find that, here's another thing. I don't know, maybe you do this, but I find podcasts are almost a sickness because like I put my headphones in and listen to podcasts when I go for walks or whatever. And it's just distracting me.
Yeah.
It's keeping the brain.
Yeah.
Right. And I realize this is what I'm doing all day sometimes. And like, I got to stop.
Yeah.
I've got to let myself just go for a walk without a thing.
Silence is really important.
I'm distracting myself to death. And that's not good.
And all the talky. And then your brain is all talky. And it's just all talky.
Right. Shut off that fucking brain for a little while.
Yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, dude.
I like that song. It's a pop song, Glass Animals. And the song is called...
Love Glass Animals.
What's the song? What's their big hit?
There's Gooey. There's Heat Wave.
Heat Wave. That's the big one.
Yeah. Great song.
And it's almost July, which is a lyric in the song, or June.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good month to listen to the song because but not yet. Not yet. We gotta wait.
I love that song. I was singing it in the car the other day.
So tell me about your most profound drug experience.
Wow.
What drugs have you, if you don't mind talking about it on here, like what drugs have you tried?
Let's see. The ones I haven't tried. It would be a shorter list.
Yeah, same.
I haven't tried meth. I haven't tried heroin. I haven't tried crack. But
and probably not like what is it? With the fentanyl.
Not a big fentanyl guy. No, certainly not.
No, all right.
No.
You don't read fentanyl.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for that.
If you had, I might not have let you in.
Yeah, that would not be a good podcast.
She looks different in her Instagram
she laid
videos.
Down and took a nap.
Yeah, she must put makeup on for those Instagram videos because she did not look like
that. She did not look like that. Yeah. Wow. It's hard to pick one experience. I did, doing MDMA on Christmas.
with the family?
Christmas Day? No.
I was going to say.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I mean, I would. If everybody got really cool all of a sudden about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We could
or
do it.
Or if you were just neurotic that they could tell, right? But they would be able to tell if you're on,
Oh, yeah. But I mean, all of us doing it together, that would be very healing if they were down.
Like
that would be
mom's
incredible.
Like, okay, stop hugging me, honey. Okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Listen,
I love you
because that
too.
is the thing my mom would say, stop. Can you stop?
I love you too. I do.
But so doing MDMA on Christmas with a partner of mine, we decided to stay home and not do the family thing. We stayed home and just like had a healing moment with ourselves.
That's nice.
Just the heart opening of it. And I've been able to access like feelings and compassion and forgiveness in ways that I have not been able to do in sober life.
Well done.
That I've been able to take with me into my life. And I think that's the whole thing, is being able to take the experiences that you have with you and integrate them into your life.
Sure.
Is where they actually become tools, and they're not just like, I'm just like la la la, like having a good time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a friend who works at like a plant. I think he like training there now, but some plant medicine retreat in Connecticut. I've always been looking for one in Ohio, but anyway, so he's been going to this one it's been around for a long time, and like they give like a different kind of medicine to everybody. Depending on what they have, different psychedelics that people can't get, like all these. And they stay there overnight, and they, the next day they reintegrate and have a sort, and I've always wanted to go, but it's like fucking $800.
Yeah, I bet.
So I can buy mushrooms for $25.
Yeah.
I can call somebody afterwards. It's my ghetto plant retreat therapy.
Right. With those like plant medicine retreats and stuff, it is a good idea in theory, and some of them are really awesome.
It's also trendy.
It's also very trendy, and it's like, I think there's a lot in the healing space and the wellness space, the sphere that's like coming about. There's a lot of directing people away from themselves, which I think the whole point should be to bring you into yourself and bring you into like, what do you think and what's your opinion and what happened to you and like, how are you healing? A lot of it becomes like, this guru is telling me about this, or this healing person is, it becomes about them, and like they start projecting onto people. It's like a big thing.
And then they send you a bill.
Right. Even in the Reiki space, it's very abundant in the Reiki space. I've seen it firsthand of people getting basically like people who are not licensed therapists, like pretending like they're therapists with people and like kind of putting their stuff on people, and kind of like people like changing their whole lives because my Reiki therapist told me I should do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, there is a thing where people who are most in need of therapy become therapists.
Yes.
Even my therapist said that.
Yeah. Oh,
and I think that results in a lot of, I've had some crazy therapists in my life. I've had some fucked up experiences with therapists. Yeah. One guy literally was at one point showing me pictures of the penile surgery he was going to get the next day. Yeah. Yeah. And I went back 2 more times after that.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to know how it goes. How's your penis?
I'm invested now.
Right. How's your penis?
Oh my goodness. Right. That's a whole thing. You got to be so careful with who you're choosing.
It's hard to find a guy in therapy.
But people are desperate. When you're desperate for help, when you get to the point where you're like, I need help, a lot of times you're desperate and you're like the first person who comes at you. You're
the
like,
worst thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a privilege to choose. And it's a privilege to even get to do therapy at all. Right.
Exactly.
But it's also a choice too, because I have insurance. I'm unemployed, so I get like great insurance because I'm unemployed, and I get free therapy now. And honestly, free therapy is incredible because like I'm not invested like financially.
Yeah.
So like we've gotten so much further than we would have gotten in the last like few weeks, just because like the time doesn't bother me because I'll
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Jeez.
It should be free for everybody in that case.
Oh,
but then how would the people get paid? The
Capitalism.
government. The government's not going to do it. Donald Trump will fix it.
He's going to fix it.
I mean, he got rid of the penny. What's next?
Did he?
He sure did. Pennies are gone.
Really?
I mean, they're not going to.
They're not making any more pennies?
Yeah, they're still going to be out there. But I think stores are going to start going like, $9.85. It'll be all to the $5s, which is fine by me. Pennies are like, let's be real.
They are taking up a lot of space
and
in my
it costs
purse.
4 cents to make a penny. So like, what are we doing?
That makes sense.
Right. It costs apparently like 14 cents to make a nickel.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
None of just making shit up.
Yeah.
Just fake numbers flying around.
We're existing. So that's something. I mean, that's really something if you think about it.
It
like,
is.
The older I get, the more I'm like,
miracle.
what the fuck are we doing here? Like, how did this even happen? Right?
Yeah.
Right. So no profound like experience with drugs where you were like, whoa, I got on the alien spacecraft or whatever. And
I am not I'm not like a max doser. I'm not a hero doser.
Okay.
I really like to be careful with it, and I really like to go easy with it.
No, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, I think you should just to see what it's like.
I know.
It's a different place from here to here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done microdosing. I've done like protocols of microdosing,
I
which
tried
has
that
been
for a bit.
very.
I didn't enjoy it as much, but people love it. So
Yeah.
my problem was like I got these capsules from a friend, and I think like one of them would be like very mild, and then one day I'd be going to work like I was working at Hollister,
tripping.
and like I'm like tripping. I'm like, this is not good.
It's funny how that works. That was not a microdose.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny how that happened.
Extremely creative ideas at the meetings, though. Wait, you guys, what if we made a pant with 4 legs?
Genius.
Yeah. So no bad experience. Any bad experiences?
Well, the first time that I did MDMA, it was at that Electric Forest Music Festival, and I was up there for 2 weeks. First time I did it, I didn't sleep for 2 days. And I was like, I'm never gonna be able to go to sleep. Am I ever gonna be able to sleep again? Like my brain is ruined. Like I was anxiety. I was freaking out. I was just laying in the tent, just like, like I can't go to sleep. I told my friend and he helped me out, but that was not fun.
No, that's the agony of the ecstasy.
Yeah.
I was at a music festival when I was younger. It was called what's it called? Hookahville. There was a band called Acoustic Hookah. Yeah. I think they're still around.
They are.
Yeah. And yeah, a bunch of us went from college, and we went and bought acid from this person, and it was just like a sheet. So we were all just tearing off a little bit, like a little bit. And the one person who was doing it for the first time, like she just got the last piece and didn't know that wasn't. So it was like all of us tore, and there was like a pretty big chunk left, I'm guessing. And she just took that, and she lost her mind. Yeah. She was in the tent the whole night.
Yeah.
And we'd all have to go in and babysit her. But when I was in there, she was like, I see devils.
Oh God.
I see devils.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm tripping too.
Oh,
so
God.
it was like
yeah.
And we're like, your turn. We'd come out like,
oh no.
And the next day she came out of the tent in the morning, and she just looked like she'd been through, fucking Vietnam or something like that.
She was like, I was there for 10,000 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had no restrictions financially, whatever it is, what is it that you would choose to do?
Oh, wow.
I know.
I would really love to just live in the woods.
Like get a cabin?
Yeah.
By yourself or?
Yeah. I want life goal is to be like the bog witch that lives in the woods, and people come out to me. The community comes to me. I live in like a community of people that they come to me for help, and then they leave.
For like
and
tinctures,
then I'm here in
tinctures,
and for magic and help
right.
Body work and whatever. They come to get their help. I'm the witch in the woods, and then they leave. I just want to hang out with myself. I just want to take care of myself.
You're gonna call it the witch in the woods?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you'd get lonely?
So that's the thing. I'm living alone right now, purposefully, not being in romantic relationship, purposefully.
Right.
And it's lonely, but I'm doing it purposefully for peace, like for my peace, so that I can be there for people, and so that I can serve people and I can help people. So I'm not freaking out all the time, and I'm not like wrapped up in shit all the time. But who knows, maybe I just want the option. I want to be able to go live in the woods, by a stream, hang out in nature, talk to the trees. Really what it is, developing a relationship with nature has really helped that lonely feeling and that like homeless feeling that I felt pretty much my whole life.
I need to do more of that.
Like I have like a really deep, true spiritual connection with nature, with trees specifically.
What is it about the trees in particular?
If you truly get into a relationship with a tree, if you tend to the tree, if you sit with a tree, if you meditate with this one tree over and over and over every single day, it truly is such a teacher. Stuff starts happening. Like it starts like giving you gifts. Like weird fucking shit starts happening.
Huh. And do you have a tree that you do this with?
I do. I have one it's the tree that's right outside my bedroom window. So it protects my bedroom.
Right.
It's right over my bedroom. And I feed it water, and I also feed it. So I use my menstrual blood and feed it menstrual blood every month.
All right.
And so that's a whole thing. So because the menstrual blood has like vitamins and minerals and stuff in it that is good for plants, but then it's also your DNA. And so the plant is like knowing your DNA and is like, and then the animals that come to that tree and like the squirrels and the birds and like the life that lives in that tree. And that tree will like give me little gifts, like a pine cone from that tree fell just like on my front doorstep, and it protects my bedroom, and I just hang out. And you can get as weird as you want to get with it. You can have conversations with it. You can ask it its name. You can like hang out fully with a tree.
You can fuck it.
You could fuck a tree. I do kiss it.
Have you never fucked a tree?
Never fucked a tree.
So that'd be great content if you had. By the way. This whole conversation
I
would
do
change.
kiss it. It's a real tree hugger to the next degree. I do kiss trees. I do hang out with trees.
I can kind of picture your parents. Are you still kissing trees, Wesley? And Andy?
It is a whole thing. It is a whole thing.
I love it. I couldn't do it because I don't have any menstrual blood, though. I would have to like check off on it or something.
I use spit too. If I don't have anything else to offer, I'll just use my spit. I'll spit on the tree.
But you do it respectfully, like at the base. You're not spitting on the tree.
It's not a disrespectful thing, because a tree's language, if you think about it, is water, is soil, is nutrients. And so speaking in its language is like, this is what I have to offer you, is the water from it. It's like dune. If you are a dune guy, how they offer their spit, the desert people, they offer their spit to you.
Kind of. I remember this.
That. Yeah. It's like that.
What was it that I learned? That there's 1 million. We've discovered 1 million. I think it's 1 million or 2 million different insects in the world, species, and they estimate there's 10 million.
Wow.
Like, I mean,
where are they?
Well, they're still they're still identifying them and shit. But
it's
still,
wild.
That's insane.
It's incredible.
You think at this point we'd have gotten to most of the insects?
I love that so much. I love that possibility. I love when things are still just pregnant with possibility.
When are things not pregnant with possibility?
Everything is.
Right. So things are always kind of.
We forget that though. We think we know everything. We're like, oh, I've been around so long. Like, I just know how things go. It's like, you really fucking don't.
What did I just ask you? No limitations. Did you tell me? Oh, yes. You're going to go live in the woods.
Yeah.
Any particular woods?
That's a good question. I don't know. Everybody tells me I'm going to like die in the woods in Oregon. I'm just going to like lose it in my mind. It's going to be incredible.
Huh. That's great. That's nice of them to say.
Yeah.
I think
in a good way.
I think I would get like I feel like I'm an introverted extrovert. Is that what people call that?
Yeah.
Where like I'm not introverted enough to be entirely comfortable with myself all the time. I get lonely. So like, but like then I get out and meet people, and then I'm like, I got it, and now I can come back.
Yeah.
Or I know that I'm going to see people tonight, and I'm like, oh, that's
right.
Right.
Well, that's why I would like to live alone in the woods, and I'll go out for the party. I'll go out for the rave. I'll go out for the dancing.
So come back. Woods that are close by.
Yes.
Not
close
like
to a community.
Way in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to a community. That would be the vibe.
I think you could make that happen.
I know.
Yeah.
I want to.
I went to this is a weird tangent, but I went to this place called, what was it called? Something Springs, Barkley Springs in West Virginia. The last time I did mushrooms with my friend in the cabin. And this city has every year an annual water tasting competition. It's the only international water tasting competition in the world. And like literally the pictures were like a judge sitting there with clipboard, and there's just like 30 glasses of just water in front of him. And like, what do you do? How do you even possibly judge?
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We really wanted to
get down with that.
We wanted to do like a documentary about it because it's kind of like funny in a way, and like because you can submit. It's like best local water supply winner this year. Yeah,
yeah.
Best tap water. But how could you possibly be a judge? Like, how can you tell? You can't. Like,
I feel like I could tell.
But 20 different.
Yeah. Oh,
all
yeah.
Right. Well,
I
feel like that theory needs to be tested. We'll do another episode.
I would love that.
We'll do another episode with a taste test.
I've been getting into it because I'm always thirsty. I'm drinking so much water and I'm always thirsty. And I'm like, what's going on? It has to be the water I'm drinking. I need to get some electrolytes in there.
Yeah.
I'm drinking filtered water, but it takes all the minerals out and it takes all the good stuff that your body needs out of it.
Like the Brita takes all the good stuff out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like and like the reverse osmosis and whatever, it takes out like the magnesium and the calcium and like the stuff.
I take a multivitamin.
But it's better in your water because that's how it really like actually absorbs to your body.
Right. No, I've heard that too.
Alive, like water, you know?
Yeah.
There's a spring.
But then why am I filtering my water?
Well, because there's bad shit in the water.
Oh, like what bad? What would?
Like lead and
it does taste better.
Chlorine and fluorine.
Right. It does taste better though.
Fluoride.
Fluoride. Oh, you don't want fluoride in the water?
No.
No. All right.
I don't want to drink fluoride.
Oh, it is the reason your teeth are probably good though.
Well, there's a whole train of thought about that as well.
I know. I've dug in. You probably don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Conspiracy theories. I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but there are some that I subscribe to.
What else you got? What other ones do you subscribe to?
I mean, fluoride is one of the big ones.
I don't think that's on a borderline conspiracy theory. It's not like a big one because like I can see, yes, we get enough fluoride in the toothpaste, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But then like countries that don't have it have crappy teeth. So then you're like, yeah. But what's that's the best one? The fluoride in the water is your conspiracy theory du jour. That's the one.
There's got to be more. I don't really know. How do you feel about chemtrails?
I feel like that's just water vapor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the planes.
I'm not going to judge your conspiracy theories. I have a lot of friends who have some crazy.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
I met a guy in Mexico City who's biking from Alaska to the bottom tip of Chile.
Oh, wow.
Take 2 years, I think.
Only 2 years. That's surprising.
Yeah, I guess he started in June of last year, and then he's going to get there in like January, February next year.
Wow.
Yeah, Guatemala now. Anyway, we met in Mexico City randomly in a Spanish class and ended up becoming good friends. And he believes that 9/11 not only was it not an inside job, that it didn't even happen.
Oh, wow.
That it was just an illusion.
Wow.
And I think I've helped him let go of that one. But he definitely thinks that Michelle Obama is a man.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's some good ones out
My
there.
favorite one is the flat Earth one. That's like the piece. That's like the best one.
Yeah.
Because that's just everything is nothing is real if you're believing that we live on a plate with a ice wall around the edges of it.
Ice wall?
Yeah, that's what they believe that there's a wall. Like that's why you can't get to the other side because there's a giant ice wall all around the edge.
But you can get to the other side.
Well, I guess that's what like Antarctica is. It's a giant ice wall, something like that. Okay. Yeah.
I have a friend who lived in Antarctica.
No shit.
Yeah.
Huh. How long?
Well, he went down there twice and was there for several months both times. Like when you go to Antarctica, you live on the base. You live on the
right.
Whatever, the research base.
Right.
And so he works as an excavator. So the job he was doing was creating the docks, creating a dock made out of ice for like the big ships to come and like the supply ships to come and drop stuff off. So he would create docks out of ice where you'd like dump water on top of water and then it freezes and like whatever. So he said it was incredible, but also insane.
Cold.
Yeah,
that's
and dark. There's months at a time where there's no sun. Yeah. People just go a little bit insane. But living down there with people from all over the world is like really amazing.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a very interesting place to live for a little bit.
Lots of drinking, he said. Oh my lots of partying.
Way too much drinking. I mean, what do you do when it's dark all the time?
What do you do?
Well, that's why Alaska's got a lot of like drug addicts because it's a huge, because of all the makes crazy people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of do want to like go to Iceland in the winter just for like one winter and see the Northern Lights and live there in the middle of nowhere, but I really think I'd go crazy.
I think I could do it. I think I would like it.
You might.
Yeah.
I would do the cabin just to test the waters before you jump into Iceland. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd be careful.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself 10 years? You're not a planner. You have no idea.
I historically have not been. How old am I now? 34? Where do I see myself when I'm 44 years old?
Or even 54. We can go either way.
Yeah. I would love to have animals. Deep goal of life is to live like on a farm.
Oh, right.
Have animals, donkeys, goats, chickens, rescuing animals, having rescued dogs, like that kind of thing. That would be amazing.
I just had fresh chicken eggs for the first time. It was amazing.
For the first time?
Yeah, for the first time. My friend down the street has chickens and he gave me some.
Awesome.
And like
having an
really
egg plug is the fucking best.
What's an egg plug?
Plug. Plug. So a plug is like where you get your drugs from.
Oh,
a plug is like a drug dealer.
I never heard that one. I thought I knew all the drug terms.
Yeah, a plug. Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what the kids are saying.
Oh,
so
good to
an
know.
egg. So having a fresh farm.
Plug.
Having fresh egg plug is you're doing it right. That's like a
fresh egg
victory.
Plug. That's like the name of some sort of an indie rock band. I think at some point it's got to be Fresh Egg Plug. What would your cult be about?
My cult.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
If by cult we mean just like we're trying to influence people to do something, or we're like trying to make a movement happen.
However
you
want to define cult. I mean, in my mind, cult is like
a group
with a charismatic leader who eventually, gets, you've seen the Netflix documentaries. We all have.
Have you seen
Love Has Won?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That
I think
was
about
the
it
craziest
daily.
fucking thing I have ever seen in my life.
I know.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, Mother God.
What's the one? Where's my meatball sub?
My vision was chicken parmesan. So the fucking Adams turn around on me and get me meatballs. I didn't say meatballs. I love meatballs, but I didn't fucking say that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and she's just wasted all the time.
She's just drunk.
Wasted and abusive, and they're all
drunk.
just like waiting hand and foot on her, writing down everything she says.
Feeding her mental illness.
Right.
And then at the end, she's like, I'm sick. I'm mentally ill. And they're like, no, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Yeah. She tried to get out, but she couldn't.
Yes, she knew. Yeah. She knew it. Oh my God. I think about that almost every day.
She fucking turned blue from that fucking shit.
Insane.
That could have been 3 times as long, and I would have watched every bit
me
of it.
too.
It was too short.
I would still be watching it to this day.
The best cult that I know is really disturbing. Do you want to hear the disturbing cult? It's called, the guy's name was Roque Theriault, and it was called the Anthill Kids, and they were like in Montreal back in like the 70s and 80s. And it was a small cult, and like they, it was very similar to a lot of cults in that the leader was like fucking all the women and had kids with all the women and yada, yada. Eventually he starts to get abusive like they do and do just horrible things. Like, I'm not going to go into the things, but like pulling fingernails off and just horrible shit. He becomes an alcoholic. Eventually one of his wives gets sick, like stomach sick, and he thinks he's a doctor. And so he cuts her stomach open, pulls out her intestines, and first he gives her an enema, then he pulls out her intestines. Anyway, she dies, right? Then they bury her, and then a few days later he's like, oh no, I know how to fix her now. So they dig her up, and then they drill a hole in her skull, and they have all the male members of the cult ejaculate into the hole, and then she came back to life.
It worked.
It worked.
Oh my.
Yeah.
God.
I have a lot of questions about.
And so then, is this man in prison?
He's in prison.
These crimes.
He's in prison. Yeah, but some of his wives still go to visit him in prison.
So were they interviewing members of the cult on this documentary?
This was not a documentary. This is something that I just stumbled across on like Wikipedia or something.
Oh my God, is this a story that you read about?
Well, the funny thing is they made it's in Canada, so they made a movie about it, but like a narrative film, It's called Savage Messiah. I think it's based on a book. And I watched the whole thing. I rented it on Amazon, and there's no like skull fucking scene at all. Yeah. And it's like, why do you think I even watched? Like, that's what are we doing?
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see the other part. I want to see that's
the climax of
the
story.
Absolutely, literally, right. Right.
Whoa.
If I made that movie, it'd be like Skull fucking Cult or something.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. The last thing I asked people, another generic question, but it's a good one. I think we actually kind of talked about it, but what do you think happens after all of this? I know you asked me you said earlier you wanted to know, and I was thinking, we'll save that.
Like, do I get to go to Catholic heaven? But I don't want to go to Catholic heaven. I think that would be really boring.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be so many rules.
Bunch of nerds. Yeah. Yeah.
I would like.
Jesus is probably cool though. If he's.
I would hang out with Jesus.
You know what I was told? He was never. There's not any evidence that he was an actual person ever.
Yeah.
Do you know this?
I've heard that theory.
Oh, I've always just assumed he was a real guy. Like I thought he's probably the coolest guy ever. You want to hang out like a hippie? Just
evidence. Like, what would the evidence be that he was alive? Like,
I mean,
bones?
Documentation, I guess, or something. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but somebody told me this a couple of days ago. I really want to look into it now. After I look into Plug, but I'm going to be using Plug all the time with my older friends, my Gen X friends.
That's hilarious.
I'll be like, they don't do drugs though, so I'll have to try to find who's your beer plug. What are you saying? What are you saying, Jeff? Beer plug. I don't have a beer plug.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand, bro. Yeah. Skibidi toilet, right? Where were we on that? What were we talking about?
Going to heaven.
Going to heaven, yes. Christian heaven. I don't know. Catholic heaven. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. What do we think happens? I mean, I'm a pretty big subscriber of, as an energy worker, my understanding of the world is just, it's all the same stuff. We're all kind of made of the same stuff. And so this idea of, I don't know if you want to call it reincarnation, but this idea where when you die, you know, physically, your matter becomes something else. Your physical matter becomes something else. You go back into the water, you go back into the earth. I'm very passionate about when I die, just bury me in the woods. Like, don't do any weird shit to me. Like, don't burn me. Like, don't.
It's crazy that that's illegal.
I know. Correct.
Right.
And so that's like big. I'm like, who's got some land? Who's going to let me just
or
do that?
Who wants to, you know, do a like a late night secret.
100%.
Yeah.
Take me out to Hocking Hills or fucking wherever.
And what do they do if they catch you? Do they take the corpse and they're like,
exactly.
No.
I think they would.
Wow.
I think they would take it to the fucking guys.
Which guys are those?
The morgue.
The more
whatever,
people,
I think they would take it, which is so fucked up. Yeah, it's like, I don't have a will, but when I write it, it's going to be,
I don't have
when
one.
I die, like that night, just bring me out to the fucking woods and bury me under a tree or whatever. I want to go back to the earth. My relationship with nature, as like I was telling you about, is really like, I want to go back. I want to be feeding the earth. I want to go back to, you know, where I came from. And so physically, you go back there. Energetically, you, quote, live on in the ways that you lived your life and the way that people experienced you and the things that you did in your lifetime. And eventually that all goes away as well, because everyone who knew you will also die.
Right.
And that all goes away. And so it's just kind of like, you know, my matter will go into a tree and then I'll become part of a tree. My spirit will go wherever it goes.
Do you think we have consciousness that continues to exist?
I believe in, you know, if you want to call it past lives or reincarnation or whatever like that.
Right.
I think that we have memories from where our energy was. You can access memory of where your energy was before you were in this body.
Right.
For sure.
But then some people, and I'm a nitpicker, but the math doesn't work out. I want to buy into the reincarnation idea, but like how there's still always more people coming. So some people aren't reincarnated, right? Like
I think everybody is.
But there's not enough people to put in everybody else. There's not enough people dying. There's more people being born than dying, right? I can plot a chart.
Yeah, I don't know if it works like that though. It's not like one person goes into the next person.
Oh, it's a
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because your energy, if you think about it, is kind of infinite. The amount of cells, the amount of shit.
Right. Well, energy
whatever.
is a constant in the universe anyway.
Right.
So the energy that you were goes somewhere.
Goes a lot of different places.
Right.
You know, not just like into the next person or whatever.
Right. Up the butthole is more.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Right.
That's, I think, scientifically how it works.
Is that? All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up on ChatGPT later.
ChatGPT, tell me about this.
Right. Well, tell me about the
How do you feel about ChatGPT?
About AI in general, I think I use ChatGPT. I feel like it's a very mixed bag. I think that the fact that we're translating like whales and shit now is kind of awesome. Like that's cool to me. And like dolphins is fun. Although I think the dolphins are going to be like, great job humans for doing that, but fuck off. We don't want to talk to you anymore. We don't like you guys. We're going to get back to raping each other because they do.
They do that.
I've seen the videos. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, you can watch dolphin rape.
They've done it to humans too.
Dolphins. Oh yeah, that one story with the woman who became very close with the dolphin. Classic.
Oh, that one where she gave it acid.
Did she give it acid? Do you know about that one? I know she would like jack it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was they gave it acid.
Huh.
Don't do that. Don't give dolphins acid.
No, but they get high on pufferfish. I've seen them. There's videos of them passing it on pufferfish, like a gang of them, just passing it around and
like the poison?
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's chill. That's
anyway,
pretty chill.
So that stuff's great. And the medical stuff will be great. Like maybe they'll cure cancer because it really will. Okay. We haven't even seen what's going to happen. Will it destroy the world and become super smart? I just don't know. And I had an engineer on here a couple of weeks ago, and he didn't really know either. And that wasn't all that. In fact, he said like 10% of scientists think that it will, which is a little too many, frankly. 1 out of 10. That's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I'm 51, so honestly, I'll probably just see, the beginning of it or whatever it is. And video stuff, like I don't know if you've seen. I pay a lot of attention to AI just for work and just because I'm interested in it. But they came out with these video models a couple of days ago from Google, and like it is like terrifying because you're like, they're making fake newscasts that look like real newscasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. That's the thing of the next of the next 20 years is going to be discerning what is real because there's no way. How are they going to do it?
Yeah.
Like you can't legislate that. Like there's going to be so much content being made that's fake that there's no way they can stop it. Right.
And this is why I'm moving to the woods.
Right. So you're not even going to be, what are you going to, Instagram? No Instagram in the woods?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that if you do that, you really should stop with everything.
Yeah.
At least for a period of time. I'd like to do that.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I need it. My brain needs it. My body needs it. My attention span, my dopamine fucking needs it.
Science says that like 3 days without your phone or 2 days, I read something that actually resets it.
Yeah.
Which seems short to me, but
I need that.
Yeah. I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it worries me, especially the younger generation.
Yes.
Like my nephew came to visit. He's 14, and he was on his phone but he was polite about it. He would come in his room and be on his phone, but he wouldn't sit in front of me and do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, "What are you looking at?" And he's like, "I'm watching YouTube videos of chefs making different meals."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, that seems wholesome,
Yeah. Yeah.
But still,
I like the Japanese bakery videos.
Oh, all right. All right. That could have been like the first thing you said. Maybe that'll be the name of the podcast, the Japanese bakery videos.
Very calming for the nervous system.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the Japanese generally are, except with the that part, not calming, but the calming sound.
A lot of suicide, too. It's not a super chill place,
the culture is really a mess
very
out there.
Stressful.
Yeah,
very stressful.
I mean, anywhere you've got panties being sold in the vending machine, you know there's issues.
That's how they decompress, honestly. Yeah. At least they're decompressing.
I mean, I will say that this is what happens when you drop 2 atomic bombs on a country.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Shit gets weird.
Yeah, shit gets weird. As it should. I mean, that's, I think, part of the thing.
It is.
I had one other thought before, but I lost it. It was a few tangents back now. I've got to get better at like keeping an eye on those tangents because it's like a tree. Somebody was talking to me, said conversation's like a tree, and then it goes like this, and like I just need to learn how to like find this place.
Trace
again.
back.
Yeah, or write it down. But all I've got written down was plug. And the story. This was a while back, but when you were talking about how your mom knew you were gay, my mom. I was in theater and stuff when I was a kid, so my mom probably suspected just based on theater I would dress up like fairy tale characters and so forth. And I just remember her one time saying to me, and I remember where I was standing, and she's like, "You're too neat to be gay."
You're too neat to be gay.
Like her idea was that gay people were very neat, which I think was a stereotype at the time.
Okay.
And as my room was always a mess, so it was like she was reassuring herself, that she wasn't asking a question. She was just stating it. Yeah, gays are neat. You're too neat to be gay. But that was the only time my mom ever questioned my sexuality.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because in my experience, well, maybe like gay males, that's like a thing. But in my experience, most of the gays I know are messy because we're all also neurodivergent. So our brains are just doing.
You think there's a Venn diagram with neurodivergent?
Yes.
Huh. Why do you think that is?
Just brain working in a different way.
Huh.
You know? Took a little tangent.
So after you decided that you were gay or bisexual, did you just like, I'm going to go find a woman?
No, unfortunately.
Oh.
It's hard. It's hard out here.
Oh,
it's hard.
I feel like it'd be easier. Oh, dating in Columbus is. Don't even get me started. Yeah, have you been on the apps? Good Lord Almighty.
Lord, I'm on one app.
Yeah, there's some overweight people.
The only
here.
person I have found lives an hour and a half away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's hard. It's really hard out here. And women dating women is a particular breed of difficult because women are socialized to receive. We're not socialized to go out there and hit on somebody. We're not socialized to make it happen. We're not socialized to initiate, to hit on people.
You're the hittee.
So that you have got to work through that. You got to figure that out. Somebody's got to do it, especially when there's two like femme presenting people.
Right.
Because, there's more masks, there's more butch lesbians when and I'm not really attracted to that. I'm attracted to other like femme people.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, one of us has got to do it. And so we both we both like each other, but nobody's saying anything. And we're sitting there and we're like, well, something going to happen. Are you going to do it? Am I going to do it? So that's the whole thing you have to work through.
Is this like an actual date that you've been on where it's awkward just because you don't know?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's interesting because then in my experience, I've become the more masculine figure, which I never have perceived myself as very masculine.
I mean, I could see that. I mean, you have assertiveness.
I'm a little bit. Yeah, assertiveness. But so, yeah, that's been a new role for me to explore, is being the man in the relationship. You know what I mean? That's been really interesting.
And it's not when you imagined being a lesbian before you were out, then did you imagine that you didn't imagine you'd be the...
No, I didn't know that was going to come out within me.
Oh.
It's been fun though.
Right.
It's been fun.
The first date, do you remember I don't want to get too deep, but like did the first date, I'm curious about like the first date you go on with a woman, like you're like did you get set up? Did you?
It's definitely like are we on a date? It's like that kind of thing.
So it wasn't set up, it was just what was it called, a date?
No, it was a friend of mine. So it was a girl that I know. Well, she's not really a friend. She was a friend of a friend. I knew her. She was an acquaintance.
Okay.
And I told her, like, I would like to spend more time with you. I am attracted to you.
Okay, you were straightforward. That's always
I
good.
was pretty straightforward with it.
Yeah.
And we hung out. We were hanging out, but then I'm like, are we on a date? I can't tell. We're friends. Is this?
Right.
Are you into this? Am I into this? I don't know. And then, like, the second time we hung out afterwards, we kissed at the end of the date. We just like kind of did it. And I was like, okay, I guess this is a date. Okay, it's a date now.
Was she a lesbian before?
She's bisexual as before. Well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's a side of the world I never ever hear about.
It's a whole thing. There's a lot going on there.
Huh.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah. So have you dated exclusively women since, or have you
No.
been? Okay.
Doing both.
That's nice. You got a whole gamut of.
And trans men and.
Do you feel like the men, like, I feel like there's a caricature of like a man dating a bisexual woman that's like, oh, well, she's looking at that guy too, or whatever, or that woman too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, our society is all about double standards. So the man is like, oh, it's hot that you like girls. Except. It's hot that you like girls. But then it's like, the other way with that, I've heard that a lot of women who date bisexual men feel stressed out that the man could have sex with a man at any time because men are more sexual, allowed to be more sexual or more aggressive with each other. And so you're kind of like always worried about. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but it's definitely a thing.
Huh. It's interesting because you're like, so it's like it was 16, 17 years younger. And it's interesting because you're almost like the way that sexuality in so many ways has changed in the last, like in my lifetime, crazy wise, right? Yeah. And like your generation's at a certain place, but then the younger generations are at a whole different place of like wildness,
Uh-huh.
And everybody getting all upset about it.
Yes. Things are changing and people don't like that. People don't like change.
All wrapped up in other people's sex lives.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It sure is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I read that like trans issues was like the number of trans kids that actually get surgery is 0.01%.
Yeah.
And then the number that actually, I forget, it was like the 0.1%, like the 5 people or something, not very many. But you'd think that it was like the whole country is suddenly.
Right, the way we're fucking talking about it.
Yeah. I don't want to end on that. We'll find one more.
You're the editor. You can edit it around.
I know, but it's a pain in the ass to edit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We've gotten so many of these. Oh, well, joy. What brings you joy? I can kind of guess like the trees being in nature. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Being gay.
Being gay
brings me joy.
Was that like, I mean, that was clearly like a profound period in your life when you were like, I'm allowed to do this now. Like, I am this. I'm owning it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like a part of you that had been kind of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a thing too, where when you come out, it's like the metaphor of like coming out of the closet, opening the door. It's like, oh, look at all this other shit that's in the closet. Look at all this other shit I've been hiding. Look at all this other shit that I'm not talking about and I'm not showing to the world. So it's really like it's like the catalyst. It's like the first thing you come out and then you're like, and this, and this, and this. Actually, I'm this too. And it's like pulling, the long fucking clown like pulling the sock out of the.
Yeah. What are you pulling it out of, though? I'm curious.
I don't. My heart.
Okay.
My heart.
All right. It was lower. It seemed like it was lower at the first
my
time.
Uterus.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
It is like that though, which has been incredible. It's an unraveling, and you just keep sharing more and more, and it emboldens you. And then you have a community of people around you who are doing the same thing, and you found a community of people who are also coming out over and over and over again in that way. And so. Yeah, very transformative, very life-changing.
That's great. I never thought about it that way. Because I've never had. Yeah, never.
Yeah, you can come out in any kind of way you want. You can come out as a freak. You can come out as you don't have to come out as gay. You can come out as whatever you want.
This was a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I'll definitely come to your yoga classes now that I know you better and I feel more comfortable.
Cool.
We know each other now, right?
Yeah. Right. I appreciate that.
And do anything you want to promote or anything? Not that this is going to be heard by anybody, but if you want anything to...
What do I want to plug?
You never know. Yeah, plug is the word. Oh, yeah, plug. That's a good callback. So plugging means more than one thing.
It does. Right. I don't know. I mean, what do I want to plug? Just my... energy work. If you want energy work, freaking hit me up.
Sure. Instagram. You want Instagram?
Oh yeah, Instagram. at Andy Wesley on Instagram. Earth Spirit Energy Work is the name of my small business. Come to yoga on Thursday nights. Studio 18 in Clintonville.
Right on. You're the first person I've had do that at the end. So I feel like that's the thing you're supposed to do at the end.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
But it also feels kind of like a cliche in a way, and I don't want to be a cliche, but still.
I think it's important. Because it's like you're giving people a platform to reach people that they would not reach otherwise.
Right. And gives them a benefit to want to be on it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I really want to try to get, I'm going to stop. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. So that was Andy Wesley. I love that conversation. I enjoyed having it, and I enjoyed listening back to it when I was editing it. I hope you enjoyed listening to it while you were listening to it. You can follow Andy on Instagram at Andy Wesley. That's ANDIWESLEY. You can book an energy work session with her at her Earth Spirit Energy Work at andywesley.as.me. And you can follow Earth Spirit Energy Work on Instagram at Earth Spirit Energy Work. You should do all those things. You can follow me on Instagram at 1FJeff. Before we go, let's all stop, take a deep breath in, and let it go. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week.
Very good, Jeffrey.